This episode is brought to you by regret and bad choices.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, really, this is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now.
All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And yeah, we just recorded a new website promo.
Ooh.
Hey, it's coming up, so don't skip ahead, anyone. But you want to hear anyone? Is this called bumper music? Is that what it's called in the biz?
Sure. Yes, it could be.
Okay, here we go. Everyone ready? Listen. Let's give you a little volume. It's a slow groove.
Zip.
I don't know. Little shit like that kind of makes me happy. I don't know. Because, seriously, we were talking about that, and I mentioned it last week. It just irritated me that the switch over from, again, Anchor to Spotify to creators and blah, whatever the fuck they call themselves now, which I'm not complaining. Spotify is free. They're the ones, they are our vehicle for everything we do. Yes, we record with Zencastr. This podcast is brought to you by Zencastr.
It is.
But to get it out to all you fine folks, it goes through Spotify for creators. So, they just cut out a couple of different things. So I had to search around and found some music, and we just did what is probably a ridiculously silly, but hopefully effective website promo.
And
so
mildly entertaining to boot.
Yeah, if nothing else, I guess worst case scenario, everything we do is at least minorly, a little bit possibly entertaining. I don't know if it's like funny, but
Right. Whatever.
But a couple of things that I've got, I can't forget. I think I've got a note on here about the stories that I had talked about last week. I'll talk about those later, but I got a couple of other things. Got some articles at the end. I'm kind of getting into these article things. I just run across just stupid shit, and I'm like, this might be fun to talk about. So,
right.
I think we've been probably 70% on those. Some of them have been shit, but
yeah, right. Yeah.
70%. Can I get a good 70 there?
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. It's a hell of a batting average, 700.
Okay, so yeah, let's even take a good batting average. Even if 30% of what we were talking about, a 300 batter in the majors, I mean, that's a Hall of Famer, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck, we're double Hall of Famers, so we're good. Okay. But we got a couple of messages from some people. I want to talk about the upcoming guests we have coming up, two for sure, and then we got approached by a couple more that I sent you an email. One, obviously, we got to take a look at that. Another author possibly wants to be on, but I don't know. We have some things, and I don't know. We got some things to talk about, I believe.
Damn. Apparently, I have to check my email.
No, it went to your Hotmail because I know that's your that's your normal one, but it's
because I'm an old man.
But it's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing we have to do immediately. But the guy sent us he sent us a link to his book.
Cool.
Guy that wants we got approached by a couple of people, and one of them, has been two of them now. That I got back and I'm like, hey, we're good to go, and I haven't got back to me, but two for sure I think we've got coming up, but we'll touch on those after we do the reading and stuff. So
all right.
Do you have you don't have to check you want to check your email now? Feel free. We can
No,
wait. I mean, I don't care.
That's fine. It can wait.
I want to hear about the concert you guys went to last weekend too.
All right.
You're like, all right. Okay, but either way, we can get to the what I'm gonna hear air quotes, the structured part of this podcast,
Right.
which is our reading, right?
It is. It is. I got some fuck knuckles standing outside my house pointing at shit. All right. Anyway, it's fine. Squirrel.
Are they pointing at your house or something?
Actually, they're pointing at the neighbor's house. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they've lost interest apparently.
All right, cool.
You know, I live on a quiet street, so if there's any kind of action out there, I'm like, what the fuck, man?
What are you standing out there for?
Yeah, right. Get off my fucking lawn, assholes.
Get out of my vision. It's not even on your lawn. Just get out of my vision.
That's
man.
right. That's right. Get off my goddamn street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Focus. All right. Yes. A reading this week from God Grant Me. This is from a couple days ago. Yesterday, actually. Read it and marked it and went, all right, so here we go. May 29th. Character is what a person does in the dark. Dwight L. Moody. Apparently he was a 17th century evangelist. Yes, I had time to Google. Ooh, I'm prepared. All right, here we go. How many of us act differently when no one can see us? During the worst days of our illness, we used to steal, lie, and leave messes for someone else to pick up. It is often said in the meeting rooms that we, quote, are as sick as our secrets, unquote. The longer we are in recovery, the more clear the answer becomes. We are the same person wherever we go, whether anyone can see us or not. Most often, the things we used to, quote unquote, get away with hurt us a lot more than they hurt anyone else. Debatable. We practice being responsible to ourselves because we know what we are doing. We practice on the little things like making our bed every morning, whether anyone knows it or not. Why? Because we feel better when we have done our little duties. We practice telling the truth, especially to ourselves, because our addiction wants to make us dishonest. Prayer for the day. Higher power, please help me heal and recover even in the most secret parts of my life. Today's action, those pesky actions. Have I done anything today that I'm keeping secret? Why? When I really take a good look at my secrets, what do I think about them?
I think we talked a little bit about, I don't know if it was this reading last year, but we talked about secrets. We talked about, I think keeping things to ourselves and that sort of thing. And I mean, that's the obvious question. I think I know the answer. I'm going to ask it anyhow. Mike.
Yes.
Are there any secrets that you're keeping that you want to share on a podcast?
You know what? That's real easy. No.
Yeah, I have no secrets, and so I don't have to worry about having to share them openly with anyone because I have none.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, no, not really. I mean, I talk openly about, my thinking's still fucked up and, my attitudes aren't always the greatest, but no, as far as like deep secrets, something that I do that I don't want anyone to know, absolutely not.
Right. Yeah, there's a huge difference, and we've talked about. There's, even though we're ridiculously and very open on here about a lot of things,
right?
There's we have privacy. We have things that we don't talk about, but those aren't secrets. That's a different thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like for instance, if I'm out there doing something that is outside of, if somebody looked at it and be like, well, you're not acting like a recovery individual, by doing that, or, you're I'm treating somebody a different way, or blah, 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 whatever that would be the secrets that we're talking about. So, obviously, I know we talked about it. It's good. It's good to be able to answer that question and be like, yeah, I don't even have to decipher on what secrets I can share because I don't have any.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the stuff that, personally for me, the stuff I don't talk about on here generally has to do with other people. Anything that's strictly me, fuck, I don't care. I'll tell anybody anything. I don't, they may not want me to, but I will.
Right. Well, and we've had those stories before. I mean, I've told stories about, my past marriages and, but both of them and my ex-wives, and it's to the point where either I'll start to tell a story and I'm like, I'm not going to tell that one, or, I tell a story and then it's literally up to a point where I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go I got to go that way because the
Yeah.
other part of the story, even though that, yeah, there is it, everything takes usually more than one person in a lot of cases if you're
Mhm.
telling a story about a relationship or a family member or
Sure.
friends, but it's not, we're of the true belief that it's not our place to tell somebody else's story,
Absolutely.
and I've said that to my kids too. I mean
Mhm.
that neither one of them have necessarily walked up to me and like, okay, so give me the blow by blow what happened to you with mom.
Right.
Neither one of them have asked that. I've told stories. We talked about things.
Sure.
I've talked about my responsibility in those things, and quite honestly, the things that happened outside of that, the mushroom cloud that came from my actions, and
Mhm.
ultimately maybe what blew up those relationships was
Sure.
based on my actions anyhow. So
Right. Exactly.
the
Yeah.
rest of it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and I mean, they, clearly can figure out the main points, and I'm sure they don't want the details, and
Right.
yeah, and like you said, man, they're fairly aware of what you used to be and what you're like now, and
Right.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We're not fooling anybody. We never were.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that, they probably look at the relationship that I have with both of my kids, look at the
Hmm.
relationship that I have with both of their moms. And I'm sure that, Kimmy looks at the relationship I have with Dawn, and Derek
Hmm.
looks at the relationship I have with Pam.
Right.
I mean, they're very, I know for a fact they're very aware
Hmm.
of how I treat people and how those relationships are. And I think that if those relationships were damaged,
Hmm.
then I think they not only would, probably should have questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, they see what's going on, despite the fact that they're quote unquote normal and they don't need this garbage that we've got. Yeah, they live in the present and they look and they see the way things are now and they go, shit's pretty good.
Right.
Why, what the fuck does it matter what happened in the past?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And they, like I said, they see they know the difference, like you just said.
Hmm.
It's no secret that there's a reason. I've told enough stories and been open and honest enough where, yeah, they understand the
Yeah,
piece of garbage that I was, and
right.
what I am today. And God, even looking at it, going back real quick, just as a side note, I was just thinking about that. It Over the years after I got sober, as like Pam's family, her extended family started
Hmm.
kind of coming back into my life. Like
Right.
her sister friended me on Facebook, and I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Pam's sister.
Right, right.
And I'm like, oh, that's weird. But then, then you see them at family events and everyone's come up and
Yeah,
give me hugs. And these are
yeah.
aunts, uncles. And same thing with, like Dawn's parents. And I, see some of the relatives. Every once in a while, I've been at a gathering at Dawn's house. And,
Hmm.
a relative that I haven't seen in a while will walk in and they kind of look at kind of weird because they don't
Yeah.
know anything,
Yeah, what the fuck's he doing here?
Yeah. And then, I mean, either I'm sure maybe they asked the question or whatever it
Yeah,
is, but
right.
nobody's ever made a deal out of it. But
Sure.
again, it's like you say, promises, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. The wonderful things that come into our lives when we do the next right thing.
Right. So one of the speaking of secrets and stuff like that, and this I guess probably goes back. Not probably it is. It's one of those, I guess cliches, right? We're as sick as our secrets.
Hmm.
Is that a big book thing or just a recovery thing, or do you know?
I don't think it's big book. It
Okay.
doesn't ring that it's what it's from. I think it's just, yeah, it's, after the big book, in the rooms.
Right.
Somebody figured that out somewhere. Some drunk somewhere went, you know what? We're as sick as our secrets.
Right. Yeah. It's something that we've heard. I mean, probably from if not day one, probably day
Right.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thinking about that when I wrote it down. I'm like, God, I just didn't know where it came from. But yeah, it didn't. Once again, I mean, I don't know where. Fuck, I don't know where I read things from. I
Yeah.
don't know where I hear things
And
from.
I
Where'd
mean,
you?
like most things, truths in the world, fucking Socrates said it or Plato or, fucking thousands of years ago. Nothing's fucking original.
Wait, who said it? Who was the first guy you said?
Socrates.
Oh,
Sorry.
shit.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I mispronounced it. I said Socrates.
I
I'm sorry. I
I wasn't
mispronounced it.
sure. I wasn't sure who you were talking about. Like, who's that
Right.
guy? I know the Plato dude, but I'm like
Yeah.
Socrates. Who the fuck is that?
Plato,
Socrates. Yeah,
Plato and Socrates.
yeah, exactly. I know the Plato guy.
Right. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and, and the
Right.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
all those great philosophers in the past. Charlie Tuna.
Yeah, Plato and Socrates. Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that when I said Plato, though. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for being sharp.
Yes.
It was funny, just as a side note, before because I figured out this whole website promo thing, and I told Mike, and like, yeah, we're gonna do that. He's like, okay. He's like, is there anything I need to know? And I'm like, well, you never usually don't want to. And he's like, no, I really don't. I'm like, okay. I said, I think I can help lead you through this. I've got an idea, like a semi structure. I'm like, you'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I tend to do better when I have no idea what I'm doing and just play along with the crowd.
Right. Well, that goes back to the initial thing. All the shit that I have written down. You're like, nope, I don't want to know any of it because I don't want to have time to make up the lies.
Exactly.
All right. So, characters. Like the first line there, something about character done in the dark, or character is who we are in the dark. I'm like, character is done in the dark. Maybe that.
Yeah.
Hey
right.
there.
Well, actually, when I read it out loud, because I had clearly read it yesterday, and then I read it again today to make sure it wasn't like, I wasn't half asleep and it wasn't crap. Anyway, yes. So when I read it out loud, character is what a person is in the dark.
Oh, okay. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Which could be a little dirty.
It could be, but I mean, it's we understand that it wasn't. At least I don't think it was. It could have been meant that way. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. The guy was an evangelist. I mean, God knows what those guys are doing.
Right. So the one thing, the second thing that I wrote down, and we talked about this before, but I think it's hugely important, and I know a big part of how what you and I kind of put our backbone of things on is act differently when or some people act differently when no one is looking.
Right.
And that I think is important. And again, do you think that's something that we were told pretty early on, or is that something we've just learned over time, or what?
Well, I'm sure we were told fairly early on, but yeah, and then over and over and over, and it finally started making sense. But and as you were talking, I was thinking about it. It's like, fuck, man, I could barely do the one thing anymore, so I better make sure it's like the next right thing and all that good stuff. Because yeah, that running, and trucker lingo, running 2 logbooks, I just don't have the energy for anymore. There's no way, man. I can't act a different way anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I can't switch gears like that anymore. I don't want to. I don't have the energy, and fuck, man, that's hard work, and then, remembering, okay, which gear am I supposed to be in now? Fuck, screw all that, man. I want to be in the gear I'm supposed to be in, and just keep driving down the road the way I'm supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I can't. Well, first of all, I can't remember readings that I read. The reason I remember this one, making the bed, I'm like, oh yeah, I make my bed every day. That one, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But I'm like, fuck, that was yesterday. Shit, really?
Nope. Yeah.
But I can't remember who I told stories to. I mean, the stories that are decent stories, good stories, or fuck stories on here. That's why half the time, I mean, before I talk, I'm like, I think we talked about this before, or we may have talked about this before, but because I don't know. I have no idea. Usually especially on here, you and I will get into a conversation. And the funny part is that you will say the exact same thing as you said last time, or I will say the same thing. And then it's literally deja vu. And you're like, well, we fucking talked about this before. I know we did,
right.
But it's a good thing that we're answering
consistently.
The same way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. It's a wonderful thing when you're not lying and making things up and running and whatever. You're just stating the truth, man. And it's so, yeah, if it comes out again, well, it was the truth yesterday. It's probably the truth today. Pretty sure it's going to be the truth tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. And same deal. If I'm telling a story and I leave something out, it's not that I lied about it. It's literally that I forgot.
Right.
I can't remember who said that or what happened or what the exact situation is. So, I mean, a story's going to get diluted, but not on purpose, over time. But that's just my old goddamn brain. That's all that
exactly.
is. But yeah, I mean, you always say it that, what is it? See, it's not how we act between the blank and the blank. Say that again.
It's
at a
not
meeting.
how we act between the Serenity Prayer and the Our Father. It's how we act between the Our Father and the Serenity Prayer.
Aha.
Aha.
Wait, let me ponder that for a minute.
All right, go ahead.
So I get it. I absolutely get it.
Right.
And I do. I remember hearing that at meetings. Anyone can be good for an hour. Anyone could be
Yeah.
good for an hour in a group. But seriously. I mean, how are you acting out on the street? How are you acting at work?
Yeah.
How are you dealing with your loved ones, whether it be a significant other, your kids, your family, your parents? Are you being a dick to people? Are you cutting corners or anything like that? Are you
Exactly.
acting like an alcoholic or a drug addict without the substance?
Yeah.
We can.
The checkout girl at the fucking grocery store. How you acting, man? Right.
You mean, am I hitting on her or?
Well, yeah, probably, but
Okay. You're talking about like being mean to her. I can compliment her
yes.
and say,
Yes.
"Hey, hi there."
Uh-huh.
Hi.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now it's just a machine, and so that's a little creepy. But
Right. Yeah. It's a picture of me, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's me. Stop it. Stop it.
hey,
I'm on camera. Hey, that guy's looking kind of nice.
right? Looking mighty fine in them jeans, there, boy.
In them blue jeans. Okay, so you made a comment about the line that said things, whatever it was, things that we do hurt us more than anyone else. You said probably or possibly
Yeah.
or.
Right. Yeah. That was when I took a little issue with. Let me crack it open and get it right here. Yes, most often the things we used to quote unquote get away with hurt us a lot more than they hurt anyone else. Now I get the what they're trying to say. Yeah,
Right.
clearly it's it's not good for us either. But I can't think that way today because again, that's selfish and self-centered shit. I need to my mindset on that sort of thing needs to be, yes, I need to do the next right thing because it's going to hurt other people more than it's going to hurt me. That's just, it's just the way I need to look at it. So that's a little slippery for me to go, oh, it's hurting me more than it's hurting you. So I'm not going to do it because it's going to hurt me more. Well, fuck that. No, I can't think that way anymore. I don't want to think that way anymore. So I don't. Yeah. I just, it's going to hurt somebody else more than it's going to hurt me. And I don't want to do that.
And I was pretty sure that that's what you meant, but
Yeah.
I wrote that down and kind of scribbled that as you were saying it. Because I'm like, well, you mentioned that and pointed that out. So
Right.
and that's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. We talked about this before for sure. I'm not afraid of relapsing or drinking anymore because it's not because I don't think it's a possibility, but
Right.
as long but there's a thing. There's a as long as I do this, this, and this, the chances of me doing that are less.
Yeah.
It's never guaranteed, but I've got a pretty good shot of staying sober today doing the things that I do.
Yes, exactly.
But in days when because again I've said it before, I think about the future. I'm all this different shit, and I've work and finances and all this different stuff.
Right.
My fucking mind goes all over the place. I'm in these ebbs. Everyone's ebb. We talked about ebb, right? That's
Yes.
a low ebb.
Yep.
I gotta I live in an ebb, and I've got to pull myself up to a flow. I mean
Yes.
that's my constant work, which is weird. And I'm not depressed.
Right.
Fucking I don't want to say ever. I'm sure everyone's got a
Yeah.
little bit of depression, I suppose, but
Yeah.
I'm not depressed. It's just that's my mindset.
Yeah.
But when I'm in those circumstances, if I would ever get to the point of, what the fuck, then I do the same thing that we talked about. I play the tape through, and
Yeah.
yes, I know that I would be dead within a matter of. It'd be a very short amount of time because I would just fucking disappear and drink myself to death. But when I disappear like that, then I think about I mean my kids number one, but I think about you. I think about Kathy.
Right.
I mean, I even think about the people that I work with. I mean,
Yeah.
they expect me to show up every day.
Help.
Our family, all of our friends. And I mean, even if I take it to a close, just a core level, I mean, figuring like, you and Kathy and Johnny and this core group of our immediate family and,
Yeah.
and my kids involved in there. And then, all of a sudden my grandson doesn't have a grandpa anymore,
Yep.
and I take a look at my ex-wife, all this shit.
Yeah.
I couldn't even fucking imagine, which is a
Right.
good thing. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine doing that or what it would do. And not that I don't think I'm, God's gift to whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But I realize that I have worth in their lives.
Yeah.
And we've done the work to, to give that to them. And I don't know if
Mhm.
that even sounds fucking weird, but it's
No, that
kind
sounds
of what it is.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they they count on us. What the fuck? And not for everything and not, center of the universe or whatever, but they count on us for whatever the fuck it is that we give to them. And so yeah, that would take that away from them. And again, I don't want to do that today.
Right.
I wanna give that gift to them as much as they've given it to me.
Right. You know what's funny is, and I think whether I've talked about it on here, I'm sure I've talked to you about this. And if my kids listen to this ever, I mean, this is neither one of them are going to be surprised by this
Mm.
statement. They're very different human beings, not just being a boy and a girl type of thing,
Hmm.
but I mean, now, I mean, Derek is, he's coming up on 25 years old.
Hmm.
Kimmy's 11, 12 years older than him.
Right.
So that's a big difference. Yes, I mean,
Hmm.
females, I think it's a difference, but their age group,
Yeah.
is different. Where once Kimmy and I got back with our relationship, she was one that always reached out to me more. We have different conversations. I would say deeper conversations than
Hmm.
Derek and I had when he was like between 9 and let's say 18 or
Oh,
20,
sure. Right.
Um, but every once in a while over the last probably, 3, 4, 5 years, handful of years,
Hmm.
he'll reach out to me or he'll say something to me or we have this conversation. And part of me is like, I can't believe he's fucking talking to me, And I don't mean that in a bad way,
No.
because I've never pushed him like, why don't you talk to me more?
Yeah, right.
Open up to me. But him and Katie, and I don't even know. I don't even know if they went with Dawn and Corey. I don't know. They just went to Costa Rica for the week.
No.
They left last Sunday and they're getting back today. They're
Mm.
actually in the midst of traveling back from Costa Rica right now.
Cool.
And he had mentioned it to me whenever it was and told me the date. So I set a reminder
Hmm.
and like, oh, I said it's coming up on whatever. And I actually, you know what? I think he reached out to me first a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Hey," he goes, "I don't think that I'm able to get messages, or he goes, I don't think a cellular plan works in Costa Rica." So he goes, I'm gonna download WhatsApp. He goes,
Yeah.
would you mind doing the same? So he goes, I can text you or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
And when I'm like, well, isn't that fucking nice? and I'm told I'm like, God, isn't WhatsApp kind of weird with whatever? And I said I probably wouldn't keep it for too long, but I'm like, yeah, just I'll take it to use it for you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we again didn't text back and forth a lot, but
Hmm.
it worked,
Yeah.
but the same thing. It's not that he doesn't care.
Uh-huh.
It's just, he's growing up, and he's
Right.
realizing some of these different things. And I don't think he realizes, unless he listens to this, how important those little things are to me. I don't need them, but I enjoy the fuck out of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, that's it. He's being a responsible young man.
Yeah, and it just,
Hey,
hey, do this because I wanna text you. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Again, worth to other people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. He's going to fucking Costa Rica. He didn't give a fuck about your dumb ass and wherever you're at, Arkansas, or you still in Arkansas
yeah, I
or
am. Yeah.
Kansas. Yeah.
Or
Right. Exactly. Yeah. He didn't give a fuck, but yeah, just to have that line of communication open in case, which
right.
is cool, which is really fucking cool.
I know, and it just like I said, and he's still one. I give him a hard time because I'm like, ever since he and Katie got together, if I need to know something, I text both of them. He hates a
Right.
group text, but at least I'll get an answer from Katie.
Right.
Because and again, I understand they've developed this relationship where, and she knows their schedule, where they're going to
Hmm.
be and whatever.
Sure.
It's not that he doesn't have a say, but he's gotten
Yeah.
very comfortable with not having to fucking worry about it.
Exactly. Isn't that what women are for?
I was going to say that. I mean,
Well, dishes and meals and laundry and stuff like that too. But
right? Yeah,
joking, ladies, I'm joking.
yeah. You're gonna take the 3 listeners that we have that are women, and now we have none. But the funny part is I mean he got conditioned to that and comfortable with that with Dawn because she did
Hmm.
that when
Sure.
when she and I first got together. I'll never forget it. First time we were at Mom's, I think it was when, well, yeah, we would have went out to Ohio.
Right.
She brought our calendar from home,
Hmm.
and she asked asked Mom when she was there. She's like, "Do you mind if I write down all the birthdays for the family while I'm
Mm.
here?" And
Yeah.
Mom's kind of like, of course. Because
Right.
then she
Yeah.
she looks at me kind of like, well, you never did that.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
fuck, I don't fucking, like, I don't know. Here's again 2 times in my life when people in my family got Christmas cards.
Right.
Guess when I was married.
Yeah,
But she was
exactly.
very, very good at that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, he was kind of conditioned with it, but
Mhm.
anyhow, it was a nice moment, going
Yeah,
back to that, just
absolutely.
having that little bit of worth. But
Yeah.
the other thing too with the reading, going back to the making the bed thing, um, yeah, I mean it's so goddamn simple. And go back to when you were on the road all the
Mhm.
fucking time, all
Right.
by yourself.
Yep.
Nobody was looking.
Nope.
What did you
Nope.
do every day, Mike?
I made up that bunk in that truck every goddamn day. Yep.
Well, you had to tie it up in case you had a lot lizard slither in too. Just
Mm.
if anyone out there
Yeah,
doesn't know what
that's who I was doing that for. Right.
I'm not just staying sober. I'm keeping it clean for the lot lizards. If anyone out there does not know what a lot lizard is, just fucking look it up. You'll
Google it, right?
Yeah, it comes up on exactly what it is. And I told you that my dad taught me that when I was like fucking 17 years old or
Mhm.
16, 17 years old. And I'm like, what's a lot lizard? He explains it. I'm like, oh, okay, well that kind of
Yeah.
makes sense.
Uh-huh.
But all right, so back to back to God grant me, and we'll
Yes.
leave the lot lizards outside where they fucking belong.
Right.
What else in the reading? I mean, first of all, it was a good one, but
Yeah.
what else? Anything else that you picked out of there?
I think we covered it. Yeah, just to live your life the way you want to live it. What's the Twain quote? Yeah, I know.
The Mark Twain trote. The
Yes.
Mark Twain trote. I like that better.
Right. Yes. Right. Live your life so that, if you die, your parrot,
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah. You wouldn't be embarrassed to have the town parrot to know your gossip
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
like that.
Some nonsense like that. But yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you remember? It just reminded me of when I got this. Well, clearly she was alive. I was going to say something about mom. I was going to say
Yeah.
when Bob was alive, but yeah, of
Yeah.
course she would have to be alive to do this.
To say something or do something, yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I was talking to Bob yesterday, and she said something.
We're gonna need you to pee in this cup, Bill.
Yeah, yes, I'm still sober. But no, there was God, probably at least a handful of years ago, if not longer
Mhm.
than that. Some article came up about Google, tracking people and this and
Mm.
that. And God, this might be 10 shit, it might be 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
I think
right.
about it. It was when Derek first started driving. So God, 7 or 8 at a minimum. But so she said something about that. She texted you, me, and Kathy, I know for sure.
Mhm.
And with this article, oh, do this and make sure your location services are off because with maps and it can track everywhere you go. And I remember you messaged back and you're like, I don't care if anyone knows where I go. I got
Yeah, right.
nothing to hide. And then I'm like, I said, I don't care either. I said, it helped me just the other day. That's what it was. Because Derek and I had to go find a part for his car. And there was a junkyard that we went to that had like 2 or 3 of these vehicles. And I couldn't remember where it was because we went to all these different places around Milwaukee.
Mhm.
So I looked back and knew what day we went. And that's how I found it through
Yeah.
Google Maps. I
Right.
went back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, if somebody looks at, I mean, because sometimes you roll up to a pizza place and there's a liquor store next door.
Yeah.
And then I get a pop up. It's like, hey, how was ABC Liquor? I'm like, well, I wasn't fucking there. I don't know how it was.
Right.
But I mean, one way or the other, I'm like, I don't care. I don't. It's helpful to me, and it's actually fun sometimes to see where I've been. I don't care. But that's the thing. We don't have to worry about any of that shit. Which is
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, right. Well, shit. Figure the phone's tracking me. My work tracks me.
Right.
Yeah. We've got a little family thing with my granddaughter and Chris that we're on an app that tracks us. All the time. I can pull it up and see where we all are at any given time, and I kind of like it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Here I am. Come get me.
Yeah, and it's funny because once once I went down to Indiana, which it's coming up on 3 years ago now that I went down there. But like during the week, I mean, I'm obviously working remote, so you'd see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just my Google Maps is just fucking dot, at Kathy's house.
Right.
And then Saturday, literally, that's like the same rotation I made coming around. And then Sunday, sometimes I'd have to go here and there. it was the same goddamn thing. It was the same
Yeah.
thing when I was, back in Germantown. Well, Ubering was a different story, and
Sure.
fucking now is a different story. I look at a certain day sometimes now, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's all over the goddamn place. But one way or the other, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to hide, and that's a goddamn good thing.
Right. Everybody's got something to hide except for me and my monkey.
I have no idea what that means, but
It's a Beatles song.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. Okay. I learned something. I started listening to Rob Lowe has a podcast, which he's had since the pandemic. So I figure 5 years now, which I didn't know, but it came up. I forget. I was scrolling through something, and there was the episode with him and David Spade came up as like a suggestion. I'm like, oh, I'd heard Rob Lowe had a podcast, so I started listening to it. Very interesting. He talks a lot about his sobriety. I've only listened to a handful of them, but he had Dana Carvey on there. Dana Carvey's a huge fucking Beatles fan,
Right.
so they were talking a little bit about that sort of thing. That just when you mentioned that, but it's a good podcast. I mean, it's interesting. It's called Literally, which is you've never watched Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I've seen some. Sure.
Oh, okay. Well, it was funny because he said that the reason he named that podcast Literally, and that's how he says it. That's one of his catchphrases on Parks and Rec.
Right.
And he's like, he goes, it took me all those years to get a damn catchphrase. And he says, that's what it is. He goes, that's why I named the podcast that, which again, very funny. But so anyhow, I had no idea that was a Beatles song. So anyhow, all right. So we covered the reading. We're all good.
Yes.
Okay. So as we were going through all this stuff, it reminded me we were telling a story last week about a text that we got, that you sent me for a thing that we had to do.
Oh,
and
yes.
that thing happened this week. So
It did.
So what happened?
Well, actually, it's today. As we're recording this,
Right.
our buddy Marty, the director of the Ed Keating Center where we got sober, celebrated 20 years sober today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
There we go. But yeah, and it was funny because Mike and I were talking after we recorded last week, because that's what the text was about. Mike got a text, and this individual was putting together this book and trying to get stories for Marty and all that stuff for his 20th.
Right.
So it was a very positive thing. Again, nobody died.
Right.
Although you texted me about something this week about another guy that was on the other side of things. He didn't die.
Well,
but
he didn't die. He just did something really stupid.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so it was in Mike and I were talking about when we first got into the Keating Center, because I mean, Marty just got 20 years. We just got 15, and he was 5 years sober. He turned 5 years sober.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks after we got there.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing where Mike and I were joking last week. We're like, oh my God, dude's got 5 years and he's running the Keating Center or whatever. Which again, we are not taking away from 5 years, and not taking away from him. Clearly not taking away from him. Running the Keating Center at 5 years sober, I couldn't have fucking imagined. But yeah, just it's crazy to look back now to think that he only had 5 years, and that amount of responsibility. It's huge. But I mean, Jack asked him to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on his fucking deathbed.
Yeah, which
what are you gonna say? No.
Yeah,
fuck off, old man. What are you gonna do now? You're not putting me up against a wall.
Yeah, you're gonna be dead in minutes. I can just again, how do you act when people aren't looking? And Marty's looking over his back, saying, "Fuck, is anyone here? Does anyone want to see this or hear this?
Are there any witnesses?"
He puts a pillow over Jack's head.
Wow.
Okay, stop. Mike, settle down. Settle down.
I didn't think you'd read that out loud.
But no, I mean, congratulations. Obviously, Marty
Absolutely.
Obviously Marty's been, he's been a huge part, a part of our sobriety from day one, from the time we got in the Keating Center, but continues to be an influence, our sobriety, and also a dear friend, and we love him to death, and 20 years is, well, now he can say a few 24s. Fuck.
Yes, he can.
Goddamn bastard. Son of a bitch.
Yep. Yeah. We're never going to fucking catch up with him.
Well, yeah, because he'll be in a quarter of a century by the time that we get there.
Yep.
Again, if all of us live that long, right? So anyhow, the text that you said, was that on Sunday that you sent me that text? Yeah, it had to have
God,
been.
sure, why not?
Yeah, well, and the only reason might have been Saturday, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I was out in the middle of wherever,
Uh-huh.
and had no cell phone service, and I
Ah,
get back in, and then it popped up because I don't know when you sent the text.
nah.
I ended up I got like fucking 4 emails. I got a couple of reminders. I got your text. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
Right.
I ended up pulling over so I could read your text because it was attached to an article. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was actually the cousin of our friend Michael. But I mean, we've known the
Uh-huh.
guy too.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
whether it would have been Michael or not, we've known the guy since
Probably.
was he in and out from the time we got in there?
No, I mean he may have been, but it was probably 2 years ish, somewhere around. I mean, you were still here when
Yeah.
he,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Because I.
So year and a half, something. I mean, I at one point went and picked him up and took him to the Keating Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was, he used to go to Puritas a lot, long time ago.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he was in and out and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I've known the guy. We were relatively close for a while there. Clearly he went off and did some other stuff, and so haven't been that close in a long time. But yes, yeah,
Yeah, and it was
I considered him a friend for a while, couple years for
well, and
sure.
he used to be at he was always at Founders Day. We'd see him there, which is
Mm-hmm.
obviously that's coming up next week. We'll talk about that more next Friday. But
Right?
yeah, I mean, again, he's been around our lives for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, the article was I mean, it's not the first one. My sponsors, you remember my sponsor's brother that he did the same goddamn thing.
Uh,
Yeah, tried to rob a fucking bank.
yep.
So again, no bad examples or whatever it is, but these days, and I just have to say, I don't, I don't understand because the way he got caught
Mm.
was in the basically in the
Airlock.
yeah in the airlock
Yeah.
in the
The two
foyer.
doors. Right. Yeah. I mean, most banks, I know my bank, and well, I don't go to my bank, but when I go to Puritas for, because I'm co-treasurer, yeah, it's got, you open one door, it closes behind you, then the other door opens up and you go into the bank, and same to get out. Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, so he went in, did his thing. They gave him a bunch of money. He walked out the door. It closed behind him, and they didn't open up the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and there was a bank in Menominee Falls in Wisconsin where I lived, and it was on the south end of Menominee Falls. So the the northwest, what was called the northwest side of Milwaukee, which was a I'll say an ish area,
Yes.
and Menominee Falls was considered to be a nice area for the most
Right.
part. But then
Mm-hmm.
there started to be like this overlap. So what used to happen is there was another town called Butler. Same sort of thing, a little bit south of Menominee Falls. In these two towns is where there'd be a lot of same type of thing, bank robberies, carjackings, that sort
Right.
of thing, because they were right on the verge of Milwaukee or easy ways to get away type of thing.
Uh huh.
And there was this bank. It was an Associated Bank, which is a Wisconsin bank. I banked there for years, and there was a branch right on this corner of Silver Spring and Pilgrim. So busy-ish roads, but right on that corner, just I think in the Milwaukee, maybe, but either way, that bank got robbed. I mean, constantly. I mean, constantly.
Uh huh.
And then they did that. They closed down the bank for like 2 weeks, and they
Yeah.
added that in there.
Yeah.
And then some dumb fuck, like the
Mm-hmm.
next week walked in there and got stuck.
Yeah.
And it's just I didn't think about it until I haven't been physically. I don't think I've physically been in a bank in. I had to go to the bank at Chase Bank in Valpo maybe a year ago for something. I don't
Uh
remember
huh.
why. But I'm trying to think in my head. I had to, I went to Kathy's bank. I had to get something notarized, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe the branch. I think both the branches I walked into have that area.
Yeah.
I think all of them do now.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. They stupid not to.
Right. It just went as soon as I read that. But that was what the article said that yeah, I mean they called the cops right away, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we got a suspect and he's in this area. And they're like, what is he doing? He's like, he ain't doing nothing. He's locked in there. And I mean, once again, we're not meaning to laugh at, but I mean, it just that's
Yep.
it's such a bad situation. He had a fake gun,
Yeah.
but whatever it is, it's robbery.
Yeah.
Number one. Probably, I mean, even if you had a fake firearm, I think you get charged with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucked, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, clearly it's not his first rodeo, so yeah.
Right.
It's not going to be his first number. Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's a shame. We obviously started off that part of the conversation saying he's been around in a minimum, a couple years in,
Yeah.
so for at a minimum, the last 12 or 13 years,
Yeah.
he's bounced around and, now
Mhm.
he's, whether he goes, I think for bank robbery, he'd go for life, but he's going to sit for a minute,
Oh yeah.
and, like you said, I mean, who knows what else he's been into.
Mhm.
Because I know, I mean, he was into a lot of shit for a lot of years, and
Yeah.
I know he's this is like you just said. I think it's an understatement almost to say it's not his first. I don't think it might be in the top 10 of his rodeos.
Yeah. Mhm.
But again, it's a yet. I didn't do
Yeah.
that yet.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, me
don't think
neither.
you didn't get caught yet. I didn't get
No.
caught yet.
No. No.
Just all that shit, and I feel for the guy. I really fucking do.
Yeah.
But these are the things that happen, and the only thing that I shake my head in, not even in disgust, but almost like just amazement of wow, this again. But for the grace, there
Yep.
goes us.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
All right. On that happy note, what do you think, Mike? Should we take a little break here?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be right back with more Sober Not Mature after these words from our sponsors.
Hey, Mike, I have a question for you.
All right, I may have an answer for you.
So if you're one of our fine listeners and you wanted to know a little bit more about the podcast, more than just listening to us ramble, where would you go as a listener? What do you think you'd do?
I believe you would go to SoberNotMature.com.
Ding, ding. Okay, good. Now, next question is, what if you've been, I don't know, seeing us on social media, you've seen our t-shirts, you've seen some of the pictures we posted, and the person's like, you know what, I want to be cool like those guys and get a t-shirt or a coffee mug. Where would they go for that? I know this is a tougher question, but where would they go for that one?
They would go to SoberNotMature.com.
They could do that. Yes, you're right. Because once you're on SoberNotMature.com, they can hit the store link and go to our second website, which is SoberNotMatureShop.com.
See, I was going to say store. I'd have screwed it up.
You know what? The thing of it is you got it right the first time. Everything people want is at, go ahead with the first website,
SoberNotMature.com.
And if you mess around on there, you're going to see everything we have. Obviously, we have our merchandise. See a little bit about us, a little bit about our background. We posted some other things on there, but I don't know. You can even sign up for our email list. And here's the good thing. We barely email anyone ever, so you're not going to get spammed.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That would be like effort on our part, and that's not going to happen.
Right. I have never used our mailing list yet. I may at some point, but that would take structure and discipline, which I don't think either one of us have, do we?
I know I don't.
All right. So just to wrap up here, to visit our main website and get to everything that is us, where would they go, Mike?
SoberNotMature.com.
Visit that today, right?
Right.
Okay, I think we're done. Are you done?
I'm done.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. And yeah, I texted Mike last week because when that whole thing with him with the sponsors thing and then added the Z and whatever it was, yeah, just didn't pick up on the recording. I'm sitting there, I'm going through, I'm trying to cut it, I'm listening, I'm turning it up. I'm like, fuck, it isn't in there.
Yeah.
And then we came out of the break last week. I'm like, oh, I'm keeping it in there, whatever. And then everyone's probably like, I didn't hear a fucking thing. But anyhow, so yes, this time,
it was there.
So, speaking of people listening, so we got a couple of messages.
Cool.
First, we got a message from our new friend. I'll say new-ish friend, Tim.
Okay.
The one from, where's he from? Is he from Maine, I think?
Ah.
Yeah, the one that's, okay, it says in his message. So, send us a message through our podcast website. Hey, Bill and Mike, still listening and not mature. My 40th anniversary is coming up on June 10th.
Nice.
Just ordered a t-shirt, which he did, to bring with me to the International Convention in July. We'll be spreading the word. You can be old, sober, and still not mature. Oh, and he's like, oh, still catching up on previous episodes, and it's my daily commute companion. Have a great summer. Tim McBee, sober since 6/10/1985, and still fucking off.
Nice.
So thank you, Tim. And yeah,
Thank you.
Whatever day this was, 4 days ago, and the t-shirt just got shipped out to him yesterday, I believe. I would keep an eye on it just to make
Cool.
sure. That's usually the turnaround on that is relatively quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a message on Instagram from one of our Cleveland friends. Okay, one of the Joes that we know, and I don't know if he wants to use his name, kind of like or openly use his name. So it rhymes with Tang. Joe Tang. Or I was thinking, but let's see if he actually listens and see if he messages. Joe, if you heard this, I'm going to call you Joe Wang.
Wow. Bill said that. I didn't.
I think he knows our voices. So anyhow, Joe, thank you. Here's the message from Joe. Hey, Bill, I listen every week. Listen to each episode 2 times during the week.
Wow.
I know, that's what I thought. I'm like, really? It's a huge part of my routine, which is very cool. Now,
it is.
Joe has been sober. He'll be coming up, I believe, in July. It's coming up on 15.
Yeah.
So Joe's part of the group of the guys that came in that summer that we came in and is still sober. So, Joe's coming up. I'm pretty sure it's, let's see, Joe Kelly was July. He was 7-11 in length.
Yeah.
Mr. Wang.
Wow. Almost. Jesus,
I almost
man.
did. the other Joe came in, maybe it's August. Either way, he's coming up. But he said a huge part of my routine. Love that you guys do this, and we have the same thoughts on everything. Probably because where we began.
Yep.
So then he says, "Tell Mike I said hi." Okay.
Oh, hi back.
Because I was thinking, I heard you like, oh, when he just said, "Hey, Bill," in here, and then I wrapped it up with that. Because I mean, anyone that's on Instagram knows that I'm the one that's on Instagram. So usually people will say that, make sure to tell Mike I said hi or whatever.
Right.
That's happened before. But I didn't realize, I actually messaged Joe back and I'm like, I said, thank you, obviously, for listening, whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, have you been to, are you going to Founders Day? And he didn't get back to me. So I don't know how often he's on Instagram. He might have just come on to actually message.
Yeah.
But, Joe, if you listen to this, we will be at Founders Day.
Yeah.
My phone number is no, I'm not going to do that on here. My phone number is the same though as when we were at the Keating Center. So is Mike's. Mike's is still the same.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think I did have a different one because I had a Obama phone at first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that was a different number. It was probably around a year or so that I got this number. So, but yeah, he may not have this one. I don't know.
Well, either way, Joe, if you hear this and you're going to be at Founders Day, worst case scenario, message us on Instagram, message Mike or me on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
Get in touch with us.
Because I know he's on Facebook occasionally. I see stuff once in a while. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, get in touch. We'll get together. And I'm going to say this to everyone. If he was going to message me back, I'm like, we should have Joe on. He would be a good person to have on.
Absolutely.
So that's the other thing, Mr. Wang.
Wow.
I'm having too much fun with that. Okay, I apologize. Joe, our good friend Joe, if you would like to be on the podcast, we would love to have you on. How's that?
Yeah, we would. And Jesus, despite Bill.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll sit in the corner. While we're doing the podcast, and you can talk with Joe.
All right.
No, it was really nice to hear from him, and I just don't think that I can't remember the last time I saw him. Founders Day, we used to see him every once in a while, and
right.
I don't know. It was just it was really nice to hear from him. So
definitely cool.
So there.
Yeah. No, that's great that he's listening. I had no fucking idea.
Yep, I had no idea either. So it is good. So thank you, Joe. And honestly,
absolutely.
Two times also. God, how could anyone stand us once, let alone twice?
Yeah, no shit, man. I don't even listen once.
Right, exactly. Oh, speaking of that, real quick.
Yes.
Spotify just kind of they flipped around how they do their statistics, which is kind of weird.
Okay.
They only mark plays now. It must be if somebody. I don't know if it's if somebody plays the whole episode. But they're like, oh, we're going to be changing some things. Keep an eye out with the plays. We're going to be down to this and this. Then I opened it one time, and I mean, it was like I don't know. We normally have like 50 some plays on a certain date. We had like
Mhm.
7. I'm like,
Mm.
what the fuck happened? And what it was is I think they're only tracking like full episode plays. So if
Mm.
somebody for the main part, so if somebody listens to the whole thing, or maybe it's 75%, God knows, I don't even know. They didn't explain it. So it
Huh.
marks that, but then they have what they call streams and downloads if somebody listens to at least 60 seconds or part of, because I've done that. I'll listen to a podcast for a certain portion
Right.
and then, forget that I had 8 minutes left or something like that, but anyhow, so I don't know. It's just fucking
I
weird. It
mean,
just,
I cheat. I
right,
do us on Spotify and I do us on iHeartRadio, both places you can get this fine podcast. And yeah, no, I mean, I start it and then I fast forward through the whole episode, and at the very end plays and then it kicks off. So, and it shows that it's been played.
right.
So I assumed that we were getting credit for that on Spotify and iHeart. I do them both.
Yeah,
But I don't listen. I just, I make it look like I listened
right.
because I'm a
And hey,
liar, a cheat, and a thief.
And hey, if anyone else wants to do that too,
Oh
just
yeah,
bulk up our stats. I mean, we don't care. I mean,
that's
hey, if you want to listen to this, great, it's fun. We like having you along. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
But if you listen to a little bit and you're like, yeah, I can't stand this
Yeah.
episode, just do that forward through. Play
Yeah.
it through. And if somebody listens on Spotify, that's going to be a more of a true statistic, because they can
Mhm.
truly track like a full play on that, I think.
Mhm.
I don't fucking know. I don't understand the stats sometimes when it comes down to it. It just I don't know, you flip things around a little bit, but anyhow,
Right.
it just made me think of that. But one way or the other, it's great. It's nice to have people, especially friends of ours that are just
Yeah.
random like that are listening. So we appreciate everyone out there, but it's just
Mhm.
nice. It's nice to have again, one of our buddies that's been around, for fucking ever listening.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, but and then upcoming guests, this is going to be kind of funny. So I don't know if this kind of surprised me when we originally got approached by this guest.
Mm.
So we got approached by this guy, and he's a priest,
Mhm.
okay? And his book is called The Power of Two-Way Prayer, and it's by Father Bill W,
Yeah. Right.
which is really fucking awesome. And I think the guy's probably in his 70s, I think, or something
Yeah. I
like
think.
that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Been sober again forever,
Right.
And when I looked at it, and I usually same thing. I mean, I'm kind of handling and manning the emails,
Mhm.
and I sent it over to Mike, and Mike's like, "That sounds interesting." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "I wasn't really sure which way we were going to go on that."
Uh-huh.
It's great because two things. It's probably the whatever the path is that we're on. It's as far off the path of anyone we've ever talked to.
Right.
That's number one.
Mhm.
But I think it'll be interesting. We've been approached by a couple of other people that have had a little bit more of a religious, I'll say, thing to them.
Right.
And I remember that one individual that we both looked at and we're like, yeah, this just seems
Mhm.
really weird,
Yeah. That's going to be a tough one.
And we got back to the guy and we're like, yeah, we just don't think that we'd be a good fit. And I
Right.
remember his response. He's like, oh, you're not a good fit with trying to help people get
Mhm.
sober and stay.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yep.
yep, that's
Yeah. We were right.
yeah. Surprisingly enough, our spidey senses worked on that
Yes.
one. And but no, this guy seems like he's going to be great. So
Mhm.
he's coming up on the 20th of June. And then one of our fellow sober curators by the name of Kate,
Right.
she approached us, and I emailed her back, and she didn't get back to me. But I don't see why she wouldn't. I added her to our list and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
so she's been, and I can't remember, a handful of years, 6-7 years, something like that.
Mhm.
But she's sober, a sober curator. She's a nurse. She's also has her own. She's been trying to build for the last few years since we've been curators. I know she's building a coaching business,
Right.
and she also just started a podcast.
Mhm.
So she's got a lot of shit going on.
Right.
She's married. Her husband's sober. I think he's been sober a little bit more, a little bit less than her. They're not equal on their time, but right around
Uh-huh.
the same range, I think.
Right.
But he's also, one of the sober curators. So
Hmm.
once again, I know her. Obviously from the meetings and things like that. I think it'll be a good guest. Plus, I mean, I told Mike, I'm like, she's got a hell of a following on Instagram too.
Right.
And here's the thing, we are lacking female listeners, dudes out there. I don't know what we've been. have we been begging people? I don't know.
I don't know.
But for whatever reason, we don't get a lot of female listeners. That's why we were so curious of why Shirley was why she's listened to us so long. But I mean, she gave us the answer,
Yeah.
But I think it'll be interesting because hopefully it could, maybe it'll never open up a new audience for us, but it's an opportunity, not even from a selfish standpoint. I think just to engage with a different audience. So
absolutely.
We've got a couple of interesting guests coming up, and then I just emailed you about one other thing, but I don't know. You get my whole point there is that for those of you who do listen and that are listening, we got some different things coming up here, hopefully in the next month or so.
Yes. And
so there.
Right. And it'll be mildly entertaining as always.
Exactly. Mildly entertaining as always. Okay. So there was I know a few things I wrote down this week. At one point, I'm just going to start poking through some of these old things. I don't even give a shit how bad they sound or whatever they are. I don't even know how old some of these things are. I got some of the same things written down twice because that's how long they've been on this list. All right. So, most recent one I wrote down, it says, this is from Keep It Simple the other day. Higher power teach me to really live one day at a time. So there's a reason I wrote that down, and not sure why I made me think of it, but if you were trying to, somebody that was newly sober, because I mean, one day at a time is just thrown out there like, who knows? It's just fucking thrown around out there.
Oh,
yeah. How would you explain or teach somebody or even guide somebody on how to live one day at a time?
Right. Well, it's, it's all about living in the present, explain to them, the past is past. It's already happened. There's nothing we can do about it. And the future hasn't happened yet. And there's nothing we can do about it. It's right now. This is the only control, the only power that we truly have is right now in the moment. And, that's kind of important to us alcoholics and drug addicts, control and power. I believe lack of power, that is our dilemma.
Right.
And, we try to control fucking everything. So, well, if you want to control something, you goddamn drunk. Here, control this goddamn moment because that's all you can do anyway. Yes. And clearly the original intent of one day at a time is stay sober today, don't worry about staying sober for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years or, because that's fucking impossible. I still don't know how the hell we stayed sober for 15 years, but here we are. And we joke, but it's true. How'd you do it? One day at a time.
Right.
Stay sober today. Tomorrow, who knows? I remember very early on, I'd sit there, this other guy that was there with us, even before we were hanging out, and we'd look at each other and we're going, yeah, man, we're staying sober today. Tomorrow, oh, fuck it. Tomorrow, man, we're fucking it up. We're doing everything, and, and it was kind of, literally first couple of weeks of being sober, it was, yes, we were joking, but no, we weren't. It was almost helpful, fuck, man, you haven't had your best friend in a week. Suck. Yeah. Okay. Today we will stay sober today. Tomorrow, oh God, we're doing it all. We're smoking crack. We're shooting heroin. We're drinking vodka. We're doing everything. But today we'll stay sober. Tomorrow, right? And then the next day it's fuck. Well, tomorrow is now today. So today we'll stay sober. Tomorrow though, fucking A, man, we're going. We're fucking shit up. We're burning this fucking place down. And again, it was a mild exercise in, the possibilities of, and it's still to this day, possibilities. Tomorrow, I'll fucking burn my house down tomorrow. I'm not mowing the lawn. I'm burning the whole fucking house down tomorrow. Today, all right, I'll sweep up by my door and, make my bed and pay my electric bill. But tomorrow, fucking A, man, give me a match.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna burn your house down, man, like, call me. I mean, I'll come tomorrow. I'm not coming today, but I'll come.
Bring
tomorrow
marshmallows. Yeah.
Bring a can of gasoline and a bag of marshmallows.
Yep.
But yeah, and so many people talk about, and I see it a lot on social media these days too. For individuals that are newly sober, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's I mean, yeah, it's one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time. Sometimes
Right.
it's 1 minute. It's
Yeah.
whatever the case is, and there. I don't know. It's the typical thing that we can all handle small pieces, small
Mm-hmm.
morsels.
Right.
Um, to this day, I don't want to take on. I don't. It's not that I don't get overwhelmed. I mean, I get whelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I've said
Mm-hmm.
that before.
Right.
But it's certainly not under. But I don't think I'm
Right.
overwhelmed.
Well, I get underwhelmed quite a bit, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, by other people, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was underwhelming. But I mean, me in my personal life, I've got plenty to keep me busy where I'm not underwhelmed with the activities in my life, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But from an overwhelming standpoint, it's just if shit starts to come at me, I've got to step back and be like, Jesus Christ. And
Mm-hmm.
if nothing else, grab a piece of paper and I write this shit down. And that might be there's only well, two things that I still put on paper. I
Mm-hmm.
still keep a check register.
Right.
um, I know very few people do that. I know young people don't do that.
Right.
It's a comfort thing for me, and I'm usually off a little bit. I don't balance my checkbook
Mm-hmm.
unless because I'm always for years now, and I'm talking years.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been. It'll vary between $5 to $20 under what my bank balance is online,
All right.
all the time, and I don't know where the difference comes in, and I don't care as long as it's not the other way around.
Right.
But if it's the other way around, when I look at it, it's because I added something wrong and I go through my check register and I figure it out.
Mm.
But the other thing that I write down is my budget.
Right.
I can put my budget, and I have a printed out one that I've had that I used as a guideline. But especially with doing all these different things, and I've got certain things charged over here for these trips and over here, and I'm trying to budget fucking gas money. My
Mm-hmm.
bills are not the same every month. They are to a
Right.
certain extent, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not.
Right.
So I write it down. I have to,
Yeah.
and it's the check register, I think, is a comfort thing for me. It's just
Mm-hmm.
being able to see that. Um, Other than that, everything's on my phone because I can't have all this shit in front of me. Then it gets too
Yeah.
overwhelming. Get all this
Right.
stuff, but that I have to. But the thing of it is, though, is that if I get all freaked out about what some things I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
I put it down on paper and I write down what are the things I have to do.
Right.
Whatever the case is, and it's small morsels, even at, like you said, as unbelievable as it is after 15 years, and you're
Uh-huh.
right, it's still fucking mind-blowing. It'll continue to be at 16 and
Yes.
17 years
Yep.
too. Again, we're not fronting if
Nope.
it happens.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's that small morsels. But I just thought about that, and I just nothing I really ever tried to really think about, or comprehend, or try to just kind of break down. How do you explain one day at a time? So that's a good point, though.
Yeah.
It's just saying that, again, the small morsels, and even using that ridiculous exercise tomorrow, we're gonna fucking blow the world up,
Yep.
And it's not ridiculous. It's a great way. Again, go back to comfort. That's probably a comfort
Yeah.
thing.
Absolutely.
I only got to be good right now because tomorrow I'm fucking this shit up.
Yep.
Going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Hookers, cocaine, and we're burning Mike's house down.
Yeah.
All right. So this one I got out of Touchstones, and I don't know if this was recent, but doesn't matter. It was Touchstones. The reading was talking about balance, something obviously you bring up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason that I wrote this down. It said, help me find more balance and learn to be more aware. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, though, is that when do you think that you started to find balance in recovery, or did it just happen? I don't know. It just happened, or was it a conscious thing? So when did balance come into your recovery, do you think? What time is it?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of happened. It certainly wasn't a conscious thing. Once it started happening, then I started noticing it, and then I started being grateful for it. That's funny you brought that up, because I mean, a couple of days ago, actually, earlier this week, there was some shit that was definitely out of balance. The scales were tipping one way, and not anything I did, just people in my life, and there was some shit going on, right? And I'm like, and I did not like it. I consciously did not like it. No, I mean, those words were in my head. I do not like this. But but it's funny. It was also, it was kind of the same time that my phone was blowing up from the family text about in August when everyone's going to get together here in the
Right.
Cleveland area, right? And so, I had to sit there and go, okay, yes, on this side of the scale, there's this shit going on. And on the other side of the scale, there's all this wonderful shit going on. And, and I went, all right, well, you know what? It kind of is balanced. It's not the balance that I want, but it's balanced. There's like extra good shit going on while there's this extra bad shit going on. And I took a little comfort in that. Went, okay, and guess what? The bad shit is kind of evening out, and it's getting better, and it's good, and and whatever. And the family stuff is like fading because there was all this flurry of activity, and now it's 2 months away, so who gives a fuck?
Right.
So it is balancing back out, but yes, the balance was still there. It was just not the way I wanted it to be.
Right. Yeah, and that is kind of, so you actually had an in-life, in-flight gratitude list happen.
Yes.
And that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of almost like a pros and cons list when you were
Yeah.
explaining that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter what the good and the bad shit was. It's just,
Right.
okay, I got this over here and I got this over here.
Mhm.
And that's kind of funny.
And then I did make the conscious decision to focus on the good, which
Right.
is definitely not my go-to. But it kind of is now, which is nice, okay, this other shit's going on. It will. And like I said, it's balancing back out, and it's taking care of itself as it always fucking does. And a little faith there. And so in that moment, one day at a time, one moment at a time, I chose to focus on the good shit. And hey, guess what? It's 2-3 days later, and here I am.
Right. And with that weekend, so you guys are looking at coming down the second weekend. Well, yeah, they wouldn't be there the first because they're coming down on the first week. It's going to be Monday through Monday, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
it's our anniversary weekend, the weekend before. So
right.
we'll be in Port Clinton.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so because I get Kimmy actually called me the other day because they're going to Lollapalooza on that Sunday. So we wouldn't be able to come out to Ohio until Monday anyhow.
Right.
Because I was trying to figure out, I'm probably going, not need to, but I'm probably going to take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. I think. But I'll need to come out to Cleveland first, drop all my shit at your house.
Right.
On Monday, go down to Chippewa Valley, hang there for Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Go back up to Cleveland, work Thursday, Friday, and then when I saw you guys coming down, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, whether it's me going back down there, just pack up all my shit and come down there for the night, and then head back to Indiana, or I don't know, maybe I don't know what else I'm doing in August. Maybe I'll go someplace else.
Right.
I don't fucking know.
Hobo.
Well, you know what? And here's the thing, and it's funny because this goes back to what I was talking about before. My focus is always on the money sort of thing. I've been doing okay, but like this month I had a down month,
right.
So I budget out usually 2 paychecks ahead, and things are going to be tight. Not this paycheck, but the paycheck after that, because that's a normal non-commission one,
right?
And then I get a commission one, but then it's a down one for this month, so I'm going to have a down. I don't know what I'm doing yet, over the next couple of months. But the only trip I have planned, June's kind of covered. Between obviously going back to Indiana this week, Founders Day, obviously for the weekend.
Right.
I'm going to be up in Wisconsin the weekend of the 14th. That's Father's Day, and I think I'm going to hang out with a friend of mine that Saturday night. Maybe stay by her that night, and then so that after that weekend, now that's almost the end of June, and then 4th of July weekend, I'm going down to Kentucky just a weekend, and then. I don't know after that, but I mean, then I got some time. My whole point is I'm not spending a lot of money, but this is where I got to psych myself back down and be like, I'll be okay. I can't,
right.
spend like a, fucking whore on, a whorehouse on Dollar Day or whatever it is. No, that would be the other way around. No, if it was Dollar Day, I'd be able to spend whatever I wanted at a
Yeah,
whorehouse.
all right, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, one way or the other, I think that it'll be nice. So I might do, again, that, because Kimmy is trying to figure out how to come down, and with Brian and
Right.
Ollie and driving and whatever. So I'm
Mhm.
like, you figure it out, we'll figure it out with you, type of
Yeah,
thing, and go from
yeah,
there. So, but
cool.
yeah, it'll be nice. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a real life, not only balance, but also literally like a real life gratitude list in front of
Yeah.
you.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let me grab one more of these sobriety things, and then I got a couple other things. I want to tell my Branson story, and the one thing, and then I got a couple of things in the article, or articles. All right, so this one is from God Grant Me. The reading was talking about times when we felt. Oh, I don't. Yeah, I remember this one. Okay, times when we felt a pull to help somebody. So something pulling at us that
Ah,
said we got to help somebody. This
yeah,
was just this week, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Have you ever had that? Have you ever had that gut feeling or instinct that you need to help somebody? And I put in parentheses, I don't know if this makes sense. Because my question is that gut feeling. I don't know if that even makes any fucking sense. But I don't know. We'll run with it.
Well, yeah, I do remember reading that, and I did actually think about it a little bit.
Really good. Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, so yes, the gut feeling, it's okay. So like for me, the opportunity presents itself to help someone. Clearly, someone needs some help right in front of me. Right. I don't know about a gut feeling, because my gut feeling is, well, fuck them. Um, yeah,
Right.
right. Well, it kind of comes down to, the reading we had earlier too, that we have worth now and blah, 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 blah. And my inner government tells me I'm fucking worthless, and there's nothing I can do anyway. Um, so yeah, when someone needs some help, and they're open to the help, which is a huge thing. Because I mean, I see fucking shit around me all the time. Jesus Christ, yeah, I could help this person out. I get off the freeway, I see people that I could help, but it won't do anything because they really don't want help. They just want $1. Um,
Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah. So, but when that opportunity comes where someone actually needs help and are willing to take the help and use the help in the proper way, yeah, I'm all for it. I definitely, it's again not my nature and not my first instinct, and there's no gut feeling for that, but I'm certainly glad when I can do it. I'm grateful that I get to do that. But yeah, yeah, that gut feeling. No, I don't have that.
Right.
It's not the way I'm fucking built.
Well, and that's why I wasn't sure if my question was even making any sense, because I
Hmm.
didn't. In same deal. I try not to think about these things too much, as if it's something I'm going to write down. But
Right.
um, I don't. I I can't say never, because I don't. If I have, I don't remember.
Hmm.
But I don't remember a moment where I was sitting in a chair and all of a sudden it's like, boop, I need to go help somebody.
Right.
This
Yeah.
overwhelming, again, this pull, this supernatural, or
Hmm.
unnatural, whatever you want to call it. What I'm talking
Yeah.
about,
Yes, I do.
something. Um, but I mean, I know for a fact, if I wasn't operating right as a
Hmm.
sober individual, I might be at the point where I'm like, I got to get out. I got to get out and do something. I
Hmm.
got to go to a meeting and be in front of people, have that opportunity to deal with people. And then at that point, who knows? Maybe you can help somebody.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's same deal. I said when, and I think, well, I don't even think you and I are on the same page in the mindset where if we are asked to do something or
Hmm.
help somebody or assist in whatever, we're going to, unless there's a legitimate reason why we can't.
Right.
Not, and I'll say legitimate because we're not going to make it up and say, well, I could say this. They don't
No,
fucking
yeah.
know anyhow.
Right. I'll find a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I can find, eh, I can get out of anything,
Yeah.
right? I can talk
We
my way out
have.
of anything. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
We're
I,
good
I,
at it.
I can do that because I get a clear head, so
Uh-huh.
I can lie better if I wanted to.
Sure.
But I don't want to do that these days. So if that happens, yes, I'm more than happy to do it. But it just I don't think I've ever had that. Again, that never been drawn to.
Mhm.
I've got to go help somebody big.
Right. Yeah.
That don't sound like a ghost. I didn't mean even that way, but I don't even know how to put it. Just no, I've never had that. I've never been drawn to. I got the calling.
Right.
I've been called by the Lord.
Right. Grab the back of the TV and feel the power.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that the last time because I've been in Arkansas now. No, not just here. The amount of time here, but this is the third time I've actually spent time in the state.
Uh-huh.
And it's beautiful. I fucking love it around here.
Mhm.
If I ever settle someplace, it doesn't necessarily have to be Arkansas, but I want to be around a place with mountains
Right.
because it is just. I just drove down to get my pizza, and driving down there is not that big of a deal. I mean, nice windy road coming down. It's like 11 minutes away, right?
Mhm.
But coming back in, when you come up over this little rise, you see it's this whole like open space, and then this mountain in the background and hills on the side. I'm like, it's just fucking beautiful,
Mhm.
Side note though, but every time I've been down here, and I don't think about it at the time, I keep forgetting to tell you, I should count how many churches there are
Mhm.
down here.
Mhm.
Um, they're fucking everywhere, which is fine,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, how can all these churches support themselves? You go down the
Mm.
road and there's 17 of them.
Right.
I just don't know how they can all support themselves, and they're not all like rundown shack buildings or anything
No.
like that. I've seen a couple, going back
Right.
into certain areas that are like just these one room cabin type of churches, but
Mhm.
um again, a lot of churches. That's
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything, but
Yeah.
um, just actually just kind of funny. But yeah, so I haven't gotten the calling that way one way or the other. But all right, so real quick, the Branson story, I think you'll relate to this. So I was in a condo and it was nice. I was in this condo complex, which was it's this huge area where a bunch of condos. There are some mobile homes and stuff, but nice mobile homes in this
Mhm.
area that we were in, or that I was in this time and was in last time. And it's just more in the back of this complex, and it's the I was on well technically the second floor, and it's a loft one. So I mean, you've got this whole almost like this two-story condos in these buildings,
Mhm.
and it looks like they're like that in a lot of them, which is nice because nobody above you, don't have to worry about that. So
Right.
first of all, extremely quiet, more so than the ones I was in before. I was in more of a almost like what I would consider to be apartment style condos in the
Mhm.
last one. Still nice, but just different than this. And the balcony area, it's not private. You walk out and it's open to everything, just like an apartment complex,
Right.
which not a lot of people around, no big deal. But I walked out one day, and it might have been either like the Monday or Tuesday, because I was only there a week, but it was early. It was either Monday or Tuesday, and I was standing outside on one of my breaks, looking at my phone and just hitting my vape, and I smelled cigarette smoke. I didn't think anything of it, but
Mhm.
kind of glanced to the left. So I'm facing out from the building. So to the left and down, there's this older guy, and he's sitting in his chair, feet up on another chair, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, oh, okay, well somebody else is here, right?
Right.
And but I looked up, oh, don't look at him, because I don't want to be bothered,
Right. Yeah.
because I'd rather just I'm doing my thing and I'm working and whatever. So he's not out there every time, but then it's like one of the times I came out, he said, I think it was the next day, so that would have been Tuesday. I hear him just, oh, good morning, and I just acted like I didn't hear him. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I don't fucking talk to this dude. I don't know who you are. Don't want to talk to you. So later that day, he's like, hey, can I ask you a question? I'm like, oh, fuck me. And
Uh-huh.
I said, make it quick. Cause I said, I'm working. And he's like, well, I see you're, using that vape. He goes, do you think that could help me quit smoking? And I'm like,
Mm.
takes the edge off. He just sits there like looking at me, and I'm in my head, I'm like, does that answer your question? Can I like walk
Uh-huh.
away now? And he's like, oh. And then the rest of the time I just fucking ignored him. But I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you. I have no idea I don't know who you are. I don't want to sit
Mhm.
there and have a conversation with you, which for people who know me, you included, and everyone that listens to me fucking yammer on here.
Uh-huh.
Um, in my own personal life, there are just times I don't walk around and just want to have random fucking conversations with people.
Right.
And that's why some of these places, a lot of them that I've been at, like this place, it's private. If the condos I've been at, if it's got walls on the side, I like that because I can just sit and I can relax, you know. But then I went to this trail that I went to out there, and did you see the picture where I said I drove across the creek?
No.
So I look at this, and I did this on purpose. Went to this trail. It's got like off the beaten path, not a lot of reviews on it or anything like that. And it'd been months since anyone reviewed it. And I'm like, those are the ones I want because it's something, you know, kind of out in. It's not a lot of people, but also to me, kind of more of an adventure type of thing. I'm like, it's just out in the middle of nowhere. But I mean, literally, and I knew this was I didn't know how long it was, but it was a 9-mile gravel road. Okay,
Nice.
gravel and dirt road. It was 45 minutes away, or no, that was when I was here. I'm sorry. That was the first weekend I was here. 45 minutes away, and 20 miles, okay, or something like that. But 9 of that was this gravel road. So I'm driving along and I forgot looking at all these different trails. But this one said the guy's like, oh, this and that, and it's not this, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And he's some of the negatives on it, but I'm trying to read through the positives. But he goes on top of that, he goes, I had to drive across a creek. I forgot that. Okay. So, and I'm not shitting you. It's a 9-mile road and I'm 7 miles in. Okay. 7 miles in this road to get back to the trail. And I start to come up on a clearing and then I look and I'm like, oh, fuck, there's a goddamn fucking creek. And it's been raining a lot around here. Not probably now it'd be worse after all the rain. But I pulled up to it and I get out of my car and I'm like, oh, this is fine. Because you could see the area where you drive across. You could see the rocks. It was just kind of bubbling over the rocks.
Right.
Maybe 2-3 inches of water. I was still careful driving through it. But I'm like, I just drove across a creek. But I would have been just had it been because I went down by the Buffalo River that was down here. The first day I was here, I went down and you could actually not only drive down this thing but drive out on these rocks, and river was really low. By last weekend, it was not only full but I mean swollen all the way to the edges. Crazy, you know. But just I mean the amount of rain down here is just fucking nuts. But yeah, the guy in Branson was the one that cracked me up the most because I'm just like, I don't want to fucking talk to you. Just leave me alone. And I'm not antisocial. I just wanna, I don't know. Just
Right.
leave me the fuck alone. And that's why I thought you might be able to relate to that.
A little bit.
See, I just mean that in the best way possible. You know, sometimes you just want to sit like if you sit on your porch, which I know you do sometimes, you just want to sit out there and just be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I don't remember what these articles are, but how do you feel about an article or two?
All right.
Oh, you know, first of all, our Google searches, I forgot so remember the search words?
Yeah.
Okay, so I took a screenshot because we got an email on this the other day. We're still getting mature.com. Pissing matures, we talked about. We're getting Buckle Holiday Park. Remember the belt buckle?
Yeah.
Everymature.com. Here's a fun one. Found the piss drawer.
Nice.
Goat sober. Knocked one out. I don't understand this. It's spelled ERGEN. Ergen porn sex. Have you ever heard of that word?
No.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know
I'll
what
have
it is.
to Google that.
I didn't want to look it up because I'm like, you're the one that knows all these fucking words. That's why I figured I'd ask you.
Yeah.
So write that down. ERGEN. Report back next week.
All right.
And then here's the best one. Give me head till I'm dead. Belt buckle. Somebody found our website with that search term.
All right.
It's just like, what the fuck? Okay. This one. Okay, let's see. This one could be good for both of us. All right. 7 habits of men who have quietly lost their joy in life. I did not read this. I didn't read these. I'm just like, this one gotta read. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 1, the joyless routine. Life is full of routines. We get up, get ready, go to work, go home, do it all over again. But when joy has begun to fade, these routines can become chains that bind men to joyless existence. So that's kind of funny because we just talked about routines. We have routines, but I don't consider my routine to be joyless.
No, me neither. And I mean, yeah, kind of the opposite. binds me to good stuff in life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the byproduct of our routine is joy. So
Right.
okay, that one's wrong.
Mm.
Second one, social withdrawal.
Uh-huh.
Remember my friend John started withdrawing from social circle, always life at the party, blah blah blah. But either way, so that's what I don't know. We socially withdraw, but again, that keeps us sane half the time, right? I was just talking about that.
Yes, exactly. I've I'd have to be social in the first place to withdraw from something. So right, that check.
You would end up less than zero.
Right. I'd have to be negative.
Okay, so number 3, disinterest in previously enjoyed activities. So, okay, I'm not even going to read what it is. I'm going to say yes, I am disinterested in previously enjoyed activities, and I am now actually more happy, more joyous, and free. How about you,
yes.
Mike?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and those activities weren't exactly joyful towards the end, so yeah, not a problem.
Well, we told ourselves they were, so
yeah, well,
or tried to.
Yeah.
All right, number 4, constant fatigue. Well,
that's just being old, man.
I was just gonna say it has nothing to do with me losing joy for life. I'm just
No.
yeah, I'm always fucking tired.
Yeah.
God, that was it. That was only. Oh no, here we go. Neglecting self-care. I don't think we do that. We We don't do that. Overcompensation. Ironically, one habit of men who have lost their joy in life is overcompensation. They might throw themselves into work or hobbies trying to fill a void.
No.
Eh.
No.
Pessimism. I don't think we're pessimistic, are we? We're realistic.
Yeah, right. But no, not pessimistic, not anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say that telling the truth, and we're not woe is me pessimistic type of thing. Okay.
No.
Final reflections. I don't care about your final reflections. Okay. God, there was only one more. Okay, hang on one second. Oh, this is why I saved this one. All right, I didn't read this one either. People who downplay their birthday usually display these behaviors. according to psychology. So I'm like,
Chris just perked up her ears. Go ahead.
I know, yeah, because both of us do that.
Yeah.
They are introverted.
Mm-hmm.
You'd consider yourself to be introverted, right?
I'm certainly not extroverted. No.
And I'm not. Well, I guess I just explained there's a certain time that I want to be introverted, and other times when I'm fine. I've seen people. I've seen the label of I'm an introverted extrovert or extroverted introvert. I think I can easily be both, but
right.
Regardless, they value experiences over material gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you agree with that? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
They have a high level of emotional maturity. Oh, yeah. All right, everyone. As soon as you're done throwing up, I'll go on.
Right.
Yeah, number 3, they have a high level of you know what? We do. I'm just going to go, okay, right. I agree.
Yeah.
They are selfless and considerate.
Got to work at it, but yeah.
We are. We're not poster children for either one of those terms, but
no.
I think that yes. Okay, this one I think is 100% seriously. I agree with. They cherish authentic connections.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
we
absolutely.
Do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want no fake bullshit around here.
We don't need no fake foos.
No.
Speaking of foos, I gotta talk about that in a minute. They may deal with birthday blues. No. Okay.
No.
I knew that was a no for you. They are. Oh boy. They are not attention seekers. I never try. I can't even say it. Yeah, I'm a fucking attention seeker, but that's not why I don't try to celebrate my birthday. I just don't give a fuck anymore, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want you to look at me. I just don't want you to talk to me.
Right. Yeah, we talked about it. The things that are important. Why? What is a birthday? What did you do for your birthday, Mike?
Not a goddamn thing. Yeah. Means my dad left it in.
And hopefully your mom agreed.
Exactly. And hopefully she allowed it.
That's the part I love the best. Okay, number 8, they value simplicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Right. You know, I don't want a bunch of complicated shit going around. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, and okay, yeah, that's it. But I think, with the exception of attention seeking, I don't know. That was just kind of funny when I ran across that. I'm like, well, let's just see how this goes because yeah, we're both of the whole birthday thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just real quick with the whole Foo Fighters thing. You saw that Josh Freese got fired?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I, do you know anything more behind that, or just?
Well, I mean, there's rumors that Taylor's kid's taken over.
I heard the rumor too, but then like the next day, he is whatever is his name Shane?
I
Is
don't
that right?
remember.
I
I
don't
don't know.
remember either. Yeah, so Taylor Hawkins' kid, whatever his name is,
Right.
he's touring with Taylor Hawkins' band. He's already committed to doing that this summer.
That
So he's
Chevy Metal or whatever it is.
there. You go. I couldn't think of the name of
Yeah.
it. So he is drumming for them for that
Yeah.
Chevy Metal. That I know for sure.
Well, I mean, the
But then
Foos aren't out touring anyway, so.
right. Right. And then the only other thing, this was on kind of a sarcastic thing, which I thought would be kind of funny,
Mhm.
is I wonder if maybe if Josh Freese was the one that set up Dave Grohl with the chick that he fucked and got pregnant. And I'm like, Dave Grohl's wife's like, you need to fire him. Which long shot, but yeah, I mean, well, you and I mean, both of us, I was fucking blown away by him when we
Right.
saw him. I mean, he seemed to obviously when the record that they put out, all the stuff, he sounded great, but fucking
Mhm.
live, I'm just like, this dude's a goddamn monster, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
And I just the things that he made up this fake top 10 list of why he was
Yeah,
fired,
I
which
saw
is
that.
it was silly, wasn't
Mhm.
anything, out of the
Right.
ordinary, but hey, it's like in my professional drumming career, he goes, I'd never been fired.
Right.
And then did you see the check that he got? He got a royalty check a couple of days after that or whatever it
No,
was.
didn't
It was
see
like
that.
for 5 cents or something.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just
Well, I mean, he never recorded with them.
yeah, he did.
No.
Yeah, he did on their latest record. Their
I
most
thought that was Dave. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he didn't record anything with them.
Seriously?
Yeah. And
You
on a side note, I'm pretty sure I saw him drum last Sunday.
Who?
Josh.
Really? With who?
Perfect Circle.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I wasn't paying that much attention.
Okay.
But yeah, I did read some stuff that he went back out with him, and I'm pretty sure he did that show on Sunday.
Oh, well, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
my point was I don't think he's going to be out of work for long. I mean, he's a
No.
hell of a drummer. It just it kind of blew my mind. I thought it was like a fake article when I first read it, but I don't know. It was just kind of when I said we don't need any of those foos. It's I don't know something I had written down. So okay, but I don't know. Do you wanna recap your show or we done?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'll recap it like this. Chris had a wonderful time. She enjoyed it very, very much. She said it was one of the best shows she's ever seen.
Okay, good. All right, Chris.
I literally twiddled my thumbs at one point.
Kind of like when we were watching Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, very similar.
Well, but Greta Van Fleet, I admitted walking out of there that they were fucking terrible. They were fucking terrible.
Right.
So okay. All right. Well, yeah, I don't believe I have anything else. So I think we're good.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, and we have gone a while here, so here we go. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to yet another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other. Go out and do something nice for somebody else and don't tell anybody you did it. Like when nobody's watching. I think we talked about that. Anyway. Yes, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time until the ends of the earth, always and eternally. Fuck you. Now it's that time, kids. It is that time. It is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying, "You cannot fuck off past here." Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
Part of that was like a smooth jazz version of it.
Right.
Last thing, Henry Winkler. I started listening to his book.
Uh-huh.
It's good. Have you ever you've heard interviews with him?
Sure.
Obviously, I'm sure. And it just I don't think I've listened to him this much. I've listened to hour-long interviews,
Mhm.
but never really paid attention to him just talking and not having a two-way conversation like that.
Right.
It's amazing. He's almost got this childlike wonder in his voice
Mhm.
still, and whatever, he's in his 70s, I think.
Right.
It's just crazy. He's talking about his parents. It sounds like he had a little bit of a fucked up,
Yeah.
childhood parents and
Mhm.
whatever, but he still says like with this fucking childlike wonder. I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He opened up the book saying whatever day it was, 1973, blah blah blah. So he opened with his Happy Days audition, which
Mhm.
was crazy. It was really really good. But yeah. Anyhow, I'm sure I'll have more to talk about with him. But I'm glad that I got it. It's like a fucking 9.5 hour book. So I got I got plenty to listen through. So
Yes.
but anyhow, I think I think we're done, right?
Yeah. I've been done for about 5 minutes.
All right. Well, I think I'll talk to you soon then. How's that?
Yes, you will.
All right. Love you, brother.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.